Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. The gang's all here. Got Billy and Josh here. If you guys didn't see the last video, check it out where we started bending stuff back and did a little bit of fab on the Talon, the total Talon or Nightmare. You can't really decide. Those are the two names I was thinking about, but
EOS.
Come on, it ain't that bad. It's probably gonna be nicer than your machine when we're done with it.
Larry's mistakes.
But anyways,
There you go.
check that video out if you guys are curious on what we've got so far. But the gist of it is now we have pretty much bent everything back to where we want it to be. Sorta. I mean, I'm pretty happy with everything that we've gotten so far. So the shock tower is back where we want it. So we're done up top. Well, done bending things back and getting it tacked in its place up top. So now we're gonna tackle the bottom here, the scary part, the point of impact, we'll call it. And basically the plan as of now is to just lob this tube right off and then cut here. So we're just gonna take this whole front corner and just cut it off and then replace it. So kind of scary, I guess, a little bit, but shouldn't be too bad, honestly.
It's not as scary as what the previous fix was.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we'll get right to it, and you guys are gonna see just cutting our frame right off.
Every day. About work. So we got this tube cut through. Now we're gonna come up here and try to save as much as this main skid plate as we can and try to get this boogered
We'll probably start
junk out of here.
right here in a square and as close to the tube as we can and just see where it takes us. We definitely gonna be grinding and welding and cut.
Big moments happening. I get it grinding. Finish cutting that wall. Turning back now, boys.
I think we're missing something.
That's how thick the frame is. Anybody's curious? A little thicker than I expected, to be honest.
I wonder what that is.
That's like 1/8 inch, like 1/21 maybe. If I had to guess, where's that tape measure?
Maybe.
Of course, the chair's moving.
Maybe 88.
Yeah, I mean,
1/8.
no, it's less. It's in between a 16th and an 1/8, so Yeah, no. That's over an 8.
That'd be 88 wall. 088.
Not very much wall. Is what that
Less
is.
than we thought. Looks thicker.
Yeah, we're gonna have probably some 120 wall DOM in there, but yeah, definitely not that thick. I mean, I could see why it just tacos in half. But I was wondering, just thinking out loud here, you know how yesterday, or in yesterday's video, we were talking about all these bends in the upper tubes that we were talking about, how they just fold. I mean, do they do that to keep it safe on collision?
To have it give a certain amount, like a
right?
car,
Yeah.
like a crash.
Because like what? There's nothing up here. Like these tubes make no sense to be bent like that.
No,
there's nothing here. Like we didn't take anything out of this whole area.
Yeah, it's almost. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So it's
yeah,
like
they're bent to absorb.
Not anymore.
But
we're about to add tubes in there that don't absorb.
I think it might absorb too easily.
Yeah.
So
I think so, yeah.
So we're gonna change that.
Not meant to be bashed into a tree or a big rock.
Right. So I mean, I get it from that standpoint. They do want like a folding point, but I don't think we really want a folding point.
Not too many.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about that because I was like, man, there was nothing there that was in the way. So they must just want it to fold, and maybe it folds just a little bit easier than they hoped. I know that this whole bottom frame is kind of a common issue when people are hitting stumps and whatnot, that they're bending this stuff up. I was searching on the forums and there's quite a few of them that people are kind of doing what we're doing, but not. I mean, there's different variations depending on the impact point, but just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, it's a good theory. So yeah, we're gonna go after this.
Monstrosity.
Yeah, whatever you want to call that. Ugliness. Next.
Just try and keep cutting this tube and bracket out of there and save as much of this bottom skid as we can. Basically.
Yeah, and then we'll just use that SuperATV skid and kind of use that to brace and get our...
That'll give us our point out here in no man's land.
Yep.
And using that and measure off good frame. And this is actually still in a pretty good spot, so we can measure off of this to our new location to build new stuff. But as you guys can see here, this gave us like a pretty nice, flat, good surface to weld our new tube to. I mean, that can't ask for much better of a cut there.
Yeah,
Don't even really need to grind
well.
anything. So we'll, put a tube in there, kind of fold all this stuff back to it, and start bending and making new frame.
Yep, so.
It's exciting.
Yep, we'll be back. No. Looks like the Speed UTV weld.
What is that?
That's threaded. That's like a bolt.
Yeah, that's what they found in the Speed UTV cage.
What?
I swear, you haven't seen the picture?
No. Wow.
Hilarious. Old Larry at it again.
Oh man. All right, guys. So that Xbox commercial still doing work. Old Tippy's cage. Billy Bender the
Tippy
first
lives
time.
again.
There she is. We still got her.
I don't think we showed that we even.
We still got that cage. It's good pipe for these kind of projects. And
Yeah,
oh look, here is
bend.
a perfect bent
120 wall DOM
120
tube.
wall DOM tube.
Like 3 times the thickness of the stock frame.
That we have no idea how it looks like it pretty much matches this bend.
Yeah, so like this frame tube has a little bit of a kick in it, and we don't have a tubing bender. But if you can see here,
That looks pretty legit.
I mean, it's pretty dang close. So we just picked the right bend off of it and chopped it off to the right length, and we'll kind of size it up. We'll show you guys as we do it, but pretty cool to see the bends working out like that.
Yeah, so pretty much anything that we can save off of old bent cages. I mean, not every tube on it's going to be bad, as you can see. Pipe is pipe, at least from that.
All right, guys, don't mind Billy in the background drilling, but I just want to give you a little bit of an update here. I think last you guys seen was this whole frame piece busting out of there. So this is what we're left with. We got a nice flat surface there to work with. As you can see, this whole bracket is straight. We just wanted to cut out all that nastiness, and basically we are going to sleeve a pipe, or I keep calling it pipe, but we're going to sleeve a tube up here and tie it in all in this area, which you guys will see, and we're going to tie that tube into our new tube that we're putting in here. So I want to give you a look before we start adding the tubes, which is what we're working on now. We've got this piece made, and this is DOM tube, 1/4 inch, maybe even 3/8 inch wall. One sec, I'll check on that. So yeah, this piece is 1/4 inch wall DOM. If you guys have been following the channel, you know we had big rigs before this. If you didn't know that, you know we were big into Jeeps, tube buggies, rock crawlers before this, so we built a lot of that stuff ourselves. This was actually link bars and steering on my 2 chassis buggy. It was a budget rock crawler back in the day, but used to build this stuff ourselves, and still got a lot of the tube laying around and things like that. So that's where a lot of these pieces are coming from, aside from Billy's cage that we're cutting up for some stuff too. But anyways, we luckily had this piece. We're gonna slide it in here into the existing frame. So now it's all the way back to here, basically to behind this bracket where it starts to bend. So it's wedged in there pretty good. And then we are gonna slide our new piece of tube that Billy's working on over there over this. And then we're gonna do some plug, rosette, whatever they're called, plug welds into this piece. And that'll really help. And obviously we're gonna grind or weld the new tube across to this cross member as well. So it should be pretty legit. I'm gonna be super confident, and this whole area is it's coming together well, I'll say that. But moving forward, we also Josh pulled apart this whole firewall kick panel area, which gives us way better access, is the word I'm looking for, to fix this area up, which we're gonna do next, and fix up and just double check all the welds and make sure everything's good, and maybe add a couple little gussets to some of this stuff on the back side and this side. But that is not the primary, the main objective as of now, I should say. But we were able to get to all this stuff, and then you can see the square tubing is like the main runners. There's one on each side of the chassis, and where everything ties into that is great. No cracks in the powder or paint or anything like that. So we're good to go there. We just need to fix this point, continue this forward, and then we're gonna move up to rebracing the shock tower later on. But it's going well. I'll get back to you when we start fabbing in the new frame rails, basically.
So we got me over here building an old tube notcher. Put her on a freaking cart, you know, about to get ready to notch the tube. Got Billy over here
Give me the hammer.
breaking stuff with the old Harvey freight press.
About to be a Harvey freight.
Justin over here
Don't show what I'm doing.
welding up some stuff. Don't sound good. Ooh.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, guys, we're back with an update for you. Quite a bit has happened, sorta. So we've got this whole area pretty much buttoned up, as you guys seen a couple little shots of me welding some stuff up. So we've welded all the joints. I think most of it was just powdered, cracked, but we went ahead and welded them anyways. So welded the joints on this tube, welded this factory gusset back to this tube, welded the tube back together where it was cracked, and then we did a gusset here. So this whole piece is new. So that's gusseting from this main tube all the way and across. The tube is cracked here originally, so it's gusseting across there. Then we re-welded the factory gusset to the frame, and then we added this piece in here, which is basically gusseting the two gussets, so like boxing that whole thing in. And then we did a gusset here all the way from this bar, welding across here, and that was basically, you know, the tube was cracked here, so that's splicing those tubes together essentially. So we're not just relying on the crack that we welded back together.
Yeah, the welded crack.
Yeah, basically. So I think that's more than sufficient.
Yeah.
You know, we went overboard on that for sure.
But
he probably
here.
he probably could have just welded the crack and thrown maybe a gusset on or whatever, but honestly, we're here. We want this to be a permanent fix, you know.
And for how we ride, we're not the easiest on our equipment either, so we want to be confident in it.
Right.
So
so that pretty much buttons up this whole area. I am gonna go in here and weld the backside of this. As you can see, it's not welded, but I am gonna do that. Just decided to catch you guys up to speed a little bit, and we want to get this stuff all buttoned up. So if you guys haven't seen this at all, I believe last I showed you, we had a slug, I'm calling it, slid into this tube. I showed you that, and it slides into about here. And then we're gonna weld, we drilled holes in this pipe tube. We're gonna weld this to that slug. And then we had this bend that's freaking perfect. Follows the factory, like steel skid, I'll call it. And then cut an angle on this to match the other side. And then this is kind of where it gets pretty tricky. But Billy and Josh made this artwork piece here. You know, it's not tacked in, so it is legit. We've measured everything. It's pretty dang good. So it's notched around that tube there. This is kind of where it gets iffy. You know, it's hard. You can't go too far up here without getting in the way of the new A-arm, like Heim or bushing, or
yeah,
like the tube basically when it's in full travel. So notch it there. So we'll weld all this, and that should be pretty good in my opinion. I don't think any of this stuff was actually broke. From the looks of it, it looks like someone just re-welded, maybe cracked welds, because it all looks like the same bracketry as over here.
Yeah, it's nothing new added.
No. And I'm not sure if we're just gonna call that a day once we weld this and be done up in this area. I don't really know. We'll probably see about when we're like putting our diff in and see if we have any room for any kind of gussets up there. It all really depends, I guess, but we're just trying to kind of get the main structure done for now. I just decided to tackle this while these guys were making these tubes. And, you know, there was the before. And here's the after. And this isn't even done. I mean, we're going to button these two pieces up right now, and then we will get back to you guys. But overall, pretty happy with how it's going. It's all very time consuming to make it look legit. You know, like we've said, I think you said it, we honestly probably could have kept that.
Yeah, we probably could have made a lot of this work.
And kind of done similar stuff in there, and used the SuperATV gusset kit and welded that to the chassis and things like that, and kind of used the 1/4-inch plate of the gusset kit as kind of like part of the frame, and sort of kept that. But all in all, I'm glad we just decided to chop it off. You know, it looks so much better having a nice new tube here.
Yeah, starting fresh versus trying to make something old that's crap work.
Right. The
The
downside.
The best thing we did was just whop it off right away. We didn't even think about it. Just cut it off. So
Yeah.
we have to start fresh.
Yeah, we contemplated it for like 30 seconds. We're like, screw it, just cut it off. You know, when we're done with this thing and we're like, yeah, check out this bit rig we just rebuilt, it'd be pretty ashamed to walk over and show you guys that.
Yeah.
Even though it might have held up. We just wanted
bolt inside it. We would have never even known.
Yeah, we didn't know that, which I believe we showed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we showed Larry's bolt. So the downside to cutting that off is now we've got to completely rebuild our lower A-arm tabs. So once we get this all set, and then we're gonna bolt up the skid, the gusset kit, and that'll give us, you know, our location, because that has the tabs to gusset too. And we'll start rebuilding that. But for now, we are going to slide this slug in here and kind of button this whole thing up. And you guys will see a couple vids of us tacking that stuff together and get it fully welded out and start going from there. I just put away, Brian. All right, guys. So got this all cleaned up. Got this guy ready to go in its home there. So this is what I was telling you about. I think we showed you earlier in the video. Slide that in as far as we can to where the tube is bend, and then factory like bend, so it's bottoming out in there. And we're gonna slide these two together here. We have not put these two pieces together yet, because we're thinking once we put them together, it's not all like perfect angles, so it's probably gonna be all wedged together and kind of one with each other at that point in time. So here's our final moment. Hopefully it goes well, and we wanted to show you guys so you guys fully understand like how it's sleeved together. This black line was supposed to line up with that black line, and then is this rotated the way we want it?
That's the way.
All right. That's it. It's nice. It didn't get wedged too bad. Yeah, so we still got a little bit of adjustment.
That's perfect then.
Yeah. Then we'll just play with this to get these this pipe tube the same angle as that tube the best we can. And this is what it looks like from the front. You can see that this tube over here, the factory one, is kicked, you know, that way a little bit, and ours is kicked that way a little bit. Looks good. I mean,
yeah, it really did line up pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, for all things considered.
Yeah, nice.
The bend on that tube is perfect.
Yeah, we got really lucky with that. I mean, that was a concern for sure, because we don't have a good tubing bender. So we just had to get lucky and use some existing bends.
Yeah.
But
makes razor sharp.
Yeah, right. But yeah, even this notch, I mean, that, you know, we're not filling any major gaps or anything, which is really, really good for a main structure like that. I mean, up here, there's a little bit of gaps, but, you know, not too bad, really. So we're gonna get to tacking this together and probably call it a day after that. So we'll get back with you guys.
Okay, so we're gonna show you our next step here.
We've got this guy tacked up here, as you can see. That was our first method, and then we've got the porta power wedged in between there, as you guys can see that ram, and we're pushing this part. It was so close. I mean, it was really good, really close, I'd say. We just had to push it out a little bit so that way this moves freely and it's not all bound up. Both A-arm bolts are in, and before we tack this, so in theory, if we tack a couple points here and weld her up, this should stay and we shouldn't have any bound up A-arms. I mean,
in theory,
that's the goal.
So
we put the A-arm in because worst case, if the A-arm's going to be stuck, we'd rather be stuck in than not be able to get it in. But I think this will work.
So yeah, welding's up next. Got the rosette welds just finished up.
Still got a little bit of finish up welding around all the tubes, make sure I got it all, but just wanted to do the majority of it before we release the pressure on this ram. And then moment of truth to see if I know it's all strong and everything. I just don't know if it's gonna, if this point is gonna pinch this A-arm or not. But we are about to find out. All right, moment of truth. We got 13% battery life, Billy.
Ooh.
All right, he's gonna relieve the pressure. We're gonna see what it does to our A-arm here.
Ready?
Go for it. Yep. Ooh, it moved. Yeah, it moved back a little bit. There you go. But I mean, it's not terribly bound up.
Does it still go? Oh yeah, you still can move it.
Yeah, it still goes full travel. I don't know that the bolts are gonna come out easy or not, but we can always massage this around and re-gusset it to where it's legit if need be. But the fact that it still moves is, it must not be like super bound up, you know.
Yeah, that's a win in itself.
Yeah, for real. But
no, we did a lot of time consuming work, but it could have been a lot faster, but to do it right takes time.
yeah, I mean, look at it. That's a really good. That's a good finished product, in my opinion, for the main frame. You know, like obviously we still have a lot of tabs and stuff to do.
Everything, like we leveled the whole machine, and everything that we got is all perfectly level. All our angles are very similar, if not right on. It all's been going together pretty well.
And all the tubing that we've put in is way thicker DOM, so there's no concerns there with strength.
Yeah,
You know.
and it worked out too that this tube of the 1 3/4 is the same size as stock. It's just 120 well instead of probably like 088 or something.
Yeah.
Whatever the stock junk is.
Right, yeah, it's real thin. Going well, I'd say.
Yeah, and all we got to do up here then is put that front plate over this end, and it'll literally look just like this. We'll have to do a little tab for the bumper, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's going well.
So probably gonna wrap this up here. You know, we're finished up. It's Sunday, done for the day, and we started at what, like noon, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started at noon, tearing the rig down, learning about the machine, basically tearing it down from the point of actually taking the shocks and axles, knuckles, all that stuff off. We had some plastic removed, but we worked on it till like 6:30 yesterday, so about 6 hours. And then today we got out here around 9 a.m. on Sunday, and I don't know what time it is now, probably like 5 or so.
It's like, yeah, 5 o'clock.
And we took, you know, we took about a hour lunch or so.
Yeah.
So not too much time really when you think about it.
No.
I mean, 2 shorter days, no long hours into 2 a.m. or anything crazy like that. And I mean, we've got a good base to build off of now, which is exciting. So I can sleep tonight knowing that this thing is definitely going back on the trail, which I honestly never really had concern of to begin with. But I'm just really happy with how this turned out, honestly. So at this point, we're running out of battery life. Wrap this up. We're gonna do some AR mounts. Next time you guys see us, we're gonna do some AR mounts. We're gonna finish up diff mounts, as you can see here and there. We don't have anything here holding those, so we got to build diff mounts off of here. We got to fix up this diff mount.
There's blood on it from my thumb.
That's what got Billy's thumb in the last video. This whole side is good. And then from there, once we get the diff mounts built back up, I believe diff mounts, AR mounts, and then finish this up with the bumper mount, it's going to be start to rebuild.
Yeah, paint it up and
Yeah.
let her eat.
So that's exciting. Anyways, I want to thank the build sponsors that have jumped on board to support this project. Really appreciate you guys. It's helping us move along and buy the necessary parts that we need to keep this rig going, all on channel funding, which is the goal here. So that's super cool. Appreciate you guys. Till next time, hit that subscribe button if you're not. Hit that like button. See you there.
Bye.
Bye.